the shapers of dreams. Giving the strongest notes, the strongest lines, all the strong wonders, only they can imagine and dare to do.
ACC Career Mode by ACM Racing. ACC Career Mode is back and better than ever, with a 3-month-long series containing over 50 races with mixed formats and challenges. Team up with friends to manage your finances, car performance, and sponsor contracts, or go solo and manage your favourite car across the whole season, utilising the daily, weekly, and monthly challenges to add some spice to your online racing. The best thing? You decide your career, with 7 different paths to choose from. Minimum effort is no effort. ACC Career Mode Quarter 1 contains 5 races a week, all stewarded and commentated live with a range of formats from 4 to 12 hour endurance races to 25-minute sprints. The full race calendar is available at acm-racing.com, with individual race sign-up taking place on SimGrid. Only available on Assetto Corsa Competizione PC European-based league.
Good evening, folks. We are indeed back. Harry in the chat. Just under 3 hours to go of the ACM, 10 hours of the Nordschleife. Still got 47 brave competitors in the field. A few disconnects from the earlier on in the race, but still plenty of cars and action out on track in the closing stages. My name is John Wright, aka Double O Raven. My great pleasure to be back in the comedy box for the close of this one. We'll be joined as well, potentially by a very good friend of mine, Mr. George Cook, a phenomenal broadcaster and commentator. Big things on the horizon with Track Spot TV. So we'll have him in at some point over the race as well, I'm sure. I think the best thing to do to get us all acquainted with where we are at in the race. Hopefully the opening timer, we've managed to get a few people back in. Good evening. Certainly is where I am. Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are. We're going to see a lot of flags down the field. What I was thinking we could do, I did try and jump in a little bit earlier to get some telemetry, but then the cameras went all wonky, so I had to jump back out, so I lost around the pit stops, unfortunately. But what I'm thinking we could do, just to acquaint ourselves with what we've got going on at the moment. Oh, maybe we could take the timer off. That would help. So yes, Sonang at the moment in the lead of the race. As I say, these positions are pit stop dependent. Dreyer, the car number 240, making good pace, still up in the top 5, and in fact is in 3rd position. SRT have clearly made some good progress as well. Romgost up to 4th place ahead of Julian Berger. The car number 100 just ahead of Kuzmenko, who again, so the good stint while we've been off air, up in 6th place. Then is James Perry, the BMW car. Doing very well indeed, inside the top 10 quite comfortably, and ahead of Goltsev, the Lexus though, again another car on a good comeback it would seem, up in 8th place ahead of Zokling. We did see a couple of penalties. I do think the penalty page was causing me some frame rate issues for some bizarre reasons, so I am going to message some of the admins nicely and see if we can get some updates in the chat potentially. There is Andrew Rife in the pits, Brett Bailey also in the pits, so again these positions are going to change, but they're 12th and 13th at the moment. Schwerdweger through in the BMW, so he's going to jump past there. We've just jumped past Brett Bailey, who has gone into the pits. Again, these positions are going to stand for absolutely nothing in less than 40 minutes, because over half the field is going to have pitted. There is the Raptor Virtual Racing. They've dropped outside the top 15 with Neuberger running very close indeed. That Audi looking more than pristine compared to how it was when we left earlier. 2 minutes back is Spurtsim, another BMW driver. He is being chased by 5 Ferraris. It's Nathan Zmoniak who is back out behind the wheel. A lot of these drivers are very familiar from the start of the race, so there's quite the stints they're putting in. Pasquet out for SRT inside the top 20 with Ringston just rounding out the top 20 there ahead of Apophis and Naeem. That solid group of Ferraris. Apophis, another new name at Big Brain for me, so yeah, we'll see what laps they've got in them. And Naeem there in 22nd position, ahead of Cedric Larinch, who has made back quite a few positions, to say the least. Quite a few positions to get back into the top 25. Marcel Arndt in the Porsche. And let me just check. Oh, please don't do this now. Yeah, they are a couple of laps down on the race leaders. There is Nederazov. Blue flag in there. He's got Fabian Karnar back out behind the wheel. 27th position, so they've dropped a few spots since we've been away. But again, pit stops, they're all going to be on very different strategies. The track is at optimum, but at 18 degrees it is absolutely tumbled while we've been away. It's 20 past 11 at night, as you can see by the discos going on at the side. I'm sure that's not distracting in the slightest for the driver. Chucky O'Tan in the BMW, he's in 30th position. There is Romery in the IKEA BMW, who almost looks flat packed there with the damage on the front. Glanville ahead of Cody Besselink for Astro. Romery dropping down, and then it is Glanville and Matencian who find themselves, the GT3s bringing up the rear of the group. We did see some damage on the Aston. The group of GT3s ahead of the GT4s. Godowski still in the lead. Anyone even remotely surprised? Didn't think so. Won't wait for an answer. Coopers in the GT3 is behind, and he is being overtaken by the race leader, Kyle Heslin. They're still looking very good in second place. They've got a solid gap over Rehak there in third in the GT4s, and behind Rehak, this McLaren actually was leading the way for the GT4s at one point. Olsen, oh wow, they're massively down the order. Yes, it could be penalties or Nürburgring things. But it is Kwiatkowski who's rounding fourth position, sorry, Piech. Oh, Redfern. Oh, Redfern's just had an incident. Ben Ely is going to close. He's only 25 seconds down, and that gap is absolutely tumbling at the minute. We've got Patron Hajex back out behind the wheel of his McLaren GT4 ahead of Liebert. Another car we saw fighting for the top of the GT4 podium. But yeah, not there at the moment. Gamer Extreme in the pits is doing the race solo, which is absolutely insane. Oh, but yeah, full credit. Son Angel doing the race solo as well. And currently in the lead as darkness falls. I could potentially put some floodlighting on so we can see the cars a bit better, but I'm worried that we will have a recurrence of the frame rate issues earlier. I really do need to get some more screen space. There we go. Yep, there is a lot going on. So, Son Angel and Richie have swapped positions up at the top of the grid. And I don't have an accurate pit stop, so we'll see when they're coming in. There is it Alt D you push when you're in the cockpit with them? Okay, so he's driven for 13 minutes. I've just got to 14 minutes. He's got 15 minutes left of his stint there for. So Angel has driven for 30 minutes. So he's been out 15 minutes longer. There we go, 33 minutes left of his stint. It's nice to be able to get some insider information. So yeah, Angel got the lead of the race. There's Kuzmenko and Goltsev coming in to the pits. In fact, Kuzmenko already on his way out. That was what I was looking for there. 24 seconds is the gap between Richie and Angel. Again, Angel is doing this solo. And again, how distracting must it be? Although, to be fair, if we have a look at how dark it is for the drivers out there on track, they can literally see the track. Almost. Corners like this, there we go. Not the brightest, it really lights up the spectators there on the side. We'll stay on board, because there's... Oh, in fact, no, we're past most of the party zones until we get into turn number 1. Absolutely pushing it as Angel onto the Dottinger Straight and under the first Audi bridge. And would you believe it, we're still not getting the team names after a complete reinstall. Oh well. They say you should never complain or explain. I really do need to remember that. Yeah, apologies for no team names again, not sure what is going on with this today. But we will crack on, as I say, because Angel, he's certainly cracking on. He's been out for 15 minutes longer. 23 seconds is the gap, so Richie will retake the lead when he comes into the pits. Romgost is looking to get SRT up onto the podium at the minute. He is moving a bit quicker than Dreher ahead. It's now 2 McLarens in the Aston. The Ferraris have certainly been outgunned in race pace. James Perry, one of the BMWs, venturing his way into the pack of Ferraris that started there in 5th. You can see those lights behind. I can imagine they are quite some parties. Yeah, Camilio Otto is back out behind the wheel with Kuzmenko not long out of the pits. Otto blue flagging past another car that's been a bit up and down. Oh, Gear Axlin is behind the wheel and moving pretty quickly as well by the look of it. There we go. Again, couldn't see it forward looking. And, excuse me, we can change the visual setting slightly. Ooh, and that's a car off. That's one of the GT4s off into the wall. That was a big old bounce. The GT4s. Oh, Heslin, how we doing? Yeah, the GT4s still being led by Godowski. Oh, that is close. Yeah, Godowski in the GT4, he is running just absolute perfection. He's up in 35th position. That is not where he started in the GT4s. There were 60 cars when the race started. He's made up 15 positions or so overall. And yeah, he's got himself, yeah, a couple of minutes at least back to your good self. How were you able to type in the chat? Oh, my apologies. Right, okay, sorry. You're asking how Heslin's doing. I thought you were... Yeah, I misunderstood. I thought you were Heslin saying hello in chat, but no, you're asking how Heslin is doing. Doing well. They've made up a few positions as well. The race leader in the GT4s is otherworldly, it's safe to say. But yeah, Heslin and Blanchette, from what I've seen, have had very, very, very good stints. They've made up spots as well. To get themselves up into 2nd place in the GT4s, and they do have themselves as well a decent gap. In fact, they've got a bigger gap back to Rehak than they do forward to Heslin. So as good as Godowski is driving, Heslin is doing well as well. Rehak is behind there, but there is some on board. That's the type of visibility that they've got running through the German countryside, and this is on the straight. You can see just how little is lit as they go over the crest of the hill. It's all downhill from here and then instantly in your face, uphill again with a few shadows just for good measure, and that is how it's done while you're driving the wheels off it. That is some some serious conviction in the driving there. And that is purely for the sound. It does sound so good bouncing off the walls. There is Rehak there. The McLaren is very quick though, along that straight. That thing can really unleash some top speed compared to the rest of the GT4s, so expect no surprises if they do carve their way back up the field. We've got Pavlik back in the car, but with some kind of red flag. I'm not sure. What's going on there, but they are in the pits. Angel still got plenty of the stint to go, with Dreher still in third place, now almost 5 seconds ahead, sorry, of Rom Ghost, who is going to cross the line. Oh, he's set an 8 minutes 16.7. Dreher did a 16.5. Oh, very close between those two. We love it. Berger 20 seconds down on the two of them. He will be praying that they get a bit close soon. As soon as it did jump in, actually, Apophis was in 23rd position. It's made up a couple of spots and is closing in on Von Ringston. 8 minute 19 on the last lap, and that's commensurate with cars well inside the top 13. So some phenomenal pace being shown by Apophis at the minute. You can see those disco lights again. That wouldn't be slightly off-putting at all, would it? Again, full commitment. Pavlik, I think they've been... for some reason my penalties aren't popping up on the screen as they should either. So no team names and no penalties. Has Pavlik been DSQ'd for a track violation of some description? Really not sure. Let's see what Pavlik can do against Von Ringston in a straight line. It's not one that you would think Pavlik is going to win. He is in the Ferrari. He is up against the Ferrari. Sorry, I thought it was a McLaren ahead of him, but it's not. It is a Ferrari. Pavlik still dropping down the order with that red flag there. Apophis dropping the gap to Von Ringston. Can he get close enough to mount an attack into turn number 1? The two of them going at exactly the same speed at this point in the track. Bang, down on the brakes. Look how much speed they scrub off there. Apophis closing up nicely through the braking zone. On the exit, coming into the lit pit stop. Oh, and they've both come in. They've both come into the pits. Von Ringston, Pavlik still in there, sorry. So yeah, Von Ringston and Apophis both coming in to the pits. So 365 ahead. We'll see where they come in. Seeing overtaking the pit stops earlier. Car 16 getting the love again in the chat. Good evening. Where are we at the moment? 34th place for Sobolewski. We did have a couple of livery updates. There still hasn't worked, unfortunately. Yeah, but at the moment running P34. Coopers has just gone past Godowski there to rejoin the pack of GT3s. We've still got, yeah, Olsen still in amongst the GT4s, but other than that, yeah, it is the GT4s running in order from 36. So yeah, if Olsen can get past Godowski, they'll be back to 37th. P34 is basically P1. That's what I heard in the standings for the points at the end of the race. Yeah, absolutely, definitely. I love the oh, and that is a full disco dismount there. Oh, and the Ferrari coming off the Dottinger straight. That is a whole lot of pace. Just having a bit of a spin, and that is the McLaren GT4. Again, that thing no slouch in a straight line. has already been keeping the GT3s very honest and absolutely leaving the rest of the GT4 standing. It's just through the twisty stuff it really struggles. The beautiful carousel in the background. Again, if anybody does want the floodlighting on, we can try and see if we can brighten things up just a bit. The neons do look very good though. Sonang Hell still running, but the gap now down to 20 seconds. So Richie's made back 4 seconds, going full flashing on the headlights. Look how close he gets to that tyre wall, it's absolutely ridiculous. Through turn 35, here is Ron Ghost, still hanging on. Oh, he's past Dreher. My apologies, I've completely missed that. Ron Ghost has got the overtake done, clearly. He's up into 3rd place. Dreher has been into the pits, but he is 8 seconds down. So yeah, Rob Ghost has got SRT up into 3rd place. While I was looking down the order, wow, it's still changing up at the top. You'll love to see it. James Perry, he'll be hoping for some changes. He is only 14 seconds down on Berger, who's only 12 down on Dreher now. And 12 seconds at the Nordschleife is absolutely nothing. You can easily lose that in any one of a multitude of corner apexes. Pavlik, good to see, is back out on track. Not sure what was going on there, maybe just one of these pit bugs, but is on the back of Von Ringston. Apophis did come out behind Von Ringston, so a quick turnaround for both cars, but Von Ringston holds on to the position, but does have Pavlik right. Ooh, having a look up the inside, that is full pelt there and full commitment from Pavlik. He's going to have that up the inside, gets the car in front on the way to 21. I'm always so proud of myself when I get round this corner and then it's the next 3 and I'm just, yep, nope. For some reason I think I'm coming through this corner again. But yeah, Pavlik back out, that's a good run for 113 and they are now ahead. Nielsen is closing in. Sorry, Nielsen holding on to the slipstream, sorry. Apophis is going to close back in, or attempt to, sorry, 4.4 seconds down, so they've spread out a bit since they came out of the pits. We've got a couple of GT4s in the pits. Liebert is in. Oh, very good. Look at that in the turn number 1. Haven't seen anything like that since the Leeds Festival campsites at early 2000. There we go. The little Alpine that could absolutely can through the German countryside and party zone. We've got, as I say, Kwiatkowski coming in to the pits in the 4s. Liebert is in as well. Godowski. We'll have a look and see what his stint timer is on as well. So he's been out for 20 minutes, and there we go, 44 minutes left to go. So yeah, he's got a while before he's going to be thinking about coming in. Heslin is now no longer separated by any GT3s, as we saw Coopers go past Olsen, sorry, still in 39th place, hunting down the hack on the podium. He's, as we've seen, just been overtaken by the on-track leader. Cody Besseling is coming to the pits from 30 seconds, so we'll, yeah, we're not far away from getting a good idea of who is on what pit strategy and what pit time after we get another few cars through. Oh, Yukito. Right, oh, there looks like there's been a few things there for the 73, in fact. Yeah, there has been quite a few there for Yugito. The SRT car has definitely come a cropper, and there's been several back-to-back yellow flags there. But I think the majority of them are getting out of the way of other cars and going not quite as fast as expected by the stewards. That is a lot of damage. You can see a lot of separation there between the bonnet and the front bumper. And that is not going to be aerodynamically sound for Yugito, down to 19th position. Naeem. The Red Bull Ferrari that was doing well just before it went off, in 18th position at the moment. Again, the pit stops are going to shake things up very soon. We've got 227 minutes left to go. Wow, we've been going for quite a while. Sorry, we've been going for longer than I thought. I thought we barely got through a lap and a half, but we're 33 minutes in. Hopefully everyone is enjoying. The link is in the chat. Thank you to the sponsors Uplay. Get all your gaming content there. Some great deals on the hottest goodies. So make sure you jump over and support the sponsors supporting the events. Right, I'm going to be brave and we'll try a replay. Oh. Okay, slightly better than we got earlier. It's Sobolewski then, car 16. Oh, just losing the back on the exit to the larger of the carousels. Yeah, definitely not liking the frame rate here, but Otto back up to P6 with more pit stops being taken as Eric Dreyer is on his way out of the pits. I'll see if he is still behind the wheel. Oh yeah, this track is serious. I mean, the track temperature is now down to 18 degrees. It's an entirely different kettle of fish for the drivers to where the race started 6.5 hours ago. There is a penalty coming through for car number 4. 5 seconds coming in for Naeem. That'll be served the next time they come in to the pits. Apophis still looking for overtakes, looking to steal all the camera time. Oh, and that is a very good run for the big brain driver onto the Dottinger straight. I'd love to see leading up to that. He's got that one absolutely bang to right, sending it round the outside. That's the camera that we want, as we can see him sliding his way in front. Not too much of a battle put up from the car behind, of course. Stay on the line, stay in that slipstream. Do have to be careful though. We've seen quite a few cars come a crobber into Tiergarten when they're carrying a lot more pace because of the slipstream. Both of these drivers managing to get it stopped though. It did look like Nielsen had a minor wiggle just on the brakes here, but does manage to hold it very nicely. And Apophis up to 21st and will jump up to 20th as Yegito in the pits, as we saw. Oh, you absolutely hate to see a Ferrari in that condition. And these conditions are clearly testing the drivers. That is Jason Janssens who is out. It's not who I was looking for, in fact. It was... Oh, because he's just taken over. Yes, so it was Janssen that I was looking for. Back out in 32nd place. Oh, yep, no, all good, all good. Godowski is still to come into the pits. Matensian on his way back out, so it's all changing there. Yegito, as we saw in the pits, gear axling with a bit of a yellow flag there. Oh, and that seemed to have compounded itself with an off-track excursion. Sparks flew off the Sparco barriers, and that, yeah, it's definitely going to slow you down. It'll take a few layers off the paint job as well. Let's see. Oh, Renault now 31 seconds down. He's lost 10 seconds to the car ahead. It's not often we've been able to say that. I'm quickly looking down the incident reporting system, and, or certainly my incident reporting system. Ooh. Oh, wow. Sweatfairgar witnessed the downfall there of Richie, and uncharacteristics, but that just goes to show you. So there we go, literally just spun. The GT4 leader has had a crash. Right, let me see if we can catch that. I want to see this one again. We didn't see this one from Richie's point of view. Here he is on board. Oh, just goes that little bit wide on the exit, all over the grass. Ow. Ah, there we go. It's actually straightened up his windscreen. That is how much of an impact he has just had. Car 237, Gudowski, what a race he's had, what a lead he has built up. Really can't see anything there. Let's cheat and go to far chase cam. Oh! And it's the fellow GT4 Mercedes. So he's had a little bit of a dent there. That definitely could have been a whole lot worse, but it was ironically a GT4 that he was avoiding. Register on the website. Let's see if I can understand how it works. Yep, very easy. Very easy. The first car to get home wins. Making it to the end is mega bonus points. Bruno Kragnas is into the pits for Raptor Racing. They've got 14th position at the moment. We will see that shaking about. Eric Dreyer is back out of the pits. Old Spurt Sim. And that is a BMW down there. That is a whole lot of paint scrapage along those barriers once again. Yeah, I know we really don't like using chase cam, but in these conditions, it does give us a much better view or idea. Oh, he was taking avoiding action, in fact, for the GT4 ahead of him. So yeah, no contact with the wall, thankfully. For Spursum, he was just going a bit slower than expected. We've got Julian Vidal in the pits, one of the cars that's had an up and down race as well. We're still running in 24th position. Let's see Gudowski now. Still got 180 seconds, so 3 minutes back to Heslin. Sjogren, who's been up in the top 10, that BMW has been up and down the grid. It is safe to say, definitely trending upwards. Chucky O'Tan is the car ahead, up through the Schumacher SS. Love to see the flames firing. Oh, and that's a bit of a mistake through the Schumacher SS. Oh, and that is a bold defensive move there. Yeah, I think we could call that a bold defensive move. He's gone round the outside though, very nicely done. Tan unable to hold on. Because you said please Panda TV, we absolutely, most definitely can for a very long time. Let's go and see car number 29. Richard Rahak in the McLaren. Yeah, we have been marvelling at this thing in a straight line. There's Manznika coming in. Gamer Extreme still in the pits. Again, he is driving solo, so is likely to be having some longer stops than some of the other drivers, although Son Angel is up at the front running it solo as well. Yeah, it's a very nice look at what the drivers can see. Sorry, jumping about on the cameras, but yeah, there is the going through the countryside again. It does look like they've got lucky, unless the track has managed to, unless they've seen a bit of rain and it's dried up again in the 4 hours that we've been away. It does look like they've been quite lucky. There was double clouds when we left. I was kind of hoping we would see a bit of water on the track just to keep things a bit spicy, keep the drivers and the teams on their toes, like they're not already on their toes driving the Nordschleife at night, John. Yes, yes, well done, Mr. Commentator. An astute observation there, my friend. There we go. Disco lights in the skies, fighting like lightsabers. Green on green action. see a GT3 catching up. But yeah, it does look like, as I say, the drivers have been a bit lucky. 18 degrees track temperature, and before midnight is very cold, and it's going to get colder over the next 2 hours and 17 minutes. But it is optimum with a single layer of cloud. So they are going to have graining. Is that Hesselin's car? Kragnar's car number 30 has just popped a yellow flag as well. But you can see what I mean about the GT4 McLaren. It's got a fair bit of oomph in a straight line. Here come the GT3s now. That is 29, so yeah, Sorensen. Oh, all the sparks coming out of the back of the car there as they bounce down that dip. It's just absolutely relentless around this course. Absolutely relentless. Especially in these conditions. Ooh, we've got a yellow flag up near the race leader. It's not affected them. Angel is still leading the way. Kragnaz with another yellow flag. Oh, stationary. Kragnaz in the number 30 is now completely stationary. Multiple yellow flags. Let's jump back to this one here. Oh wow, upside down. Oh my goodness me. Kragnar's completely upside down. James Perry. Oh, now is Perry catching up to this? No, he's got the Porsche just ahead of him, so this is a blue flag. Oh, bit of a stutter there. He's just on a bit of an... Oh, yeah. A bit of extended contact between the two of them, but they both do survive fairly well. Schweizberger into the pits from 11th position. Laurentian from 21st. Again, this car not having the best of starts, but absolutely hanging in there and back up to 21st position. That is some phenomenal driving from Cedric. Phenomenal driving. Absolutely worthy of a whole lot of camera time. Ziajin is into the pits as well. Yukito is back out and running, 22nd place after getting all that damage repaired. 2 hours left. There's so much that can still happen around this track. It's absolutely worth getting yourself repaired and getting yourself back out and running again. Back out for the end. We'll see how everyone gets on, and it's still Son Angel. Oh no, Angel's been into the pits unless... yeah, let's just get confirmation of that to make sure I haven't missed anything, because it's been one of those evenings. Yeah, there we go, driven for 1 minute 34. So yeah, so that is Angel in and out for a pit stop. Let's see how far up the road Richie is. 35 seconds it's saying at the... Yeah, so 35 seconds So Angel doing well to keep up with the car ahead, that is for sure. No mean feat given the talent they've got in there. Marcus Anderson is in 16th position, looking to get past Leon Way, who's back out for a stint. And looking very quick there is Anderson. Also Teixeira looking to improve on his top 10 standing. Oh, Soren Platten with a yellow flag. That might be coming into the pits. As Bruno Kragnaz is still in there. Love to see the sparks absolutely flying through the air. And yeah, the front right cam on here with the exhaust pipe does look good as well. We're still holding on. We're on board with Way being hunted down by Anderson. Still a solid gap for the GT4 race leader. Now, he had himself a bit of a moment taking avoidant action, trying to get past car 74 in the GT4 class. Didn't take on any damage, still got himself a good gap back to Hesland, who's got an absolutely flying as well as Hesland. Now, him and teammate Blanchette, that's only two from the car that I've seen out. Yeah, flashing the lights there. Oh yeah, there are only two in the car, sorry. So yeah, Blanchette and Hesland, they've both put in some very good stints to get themselves up to second in the GT4s, and they really are powering ahead of Rahak. They've almost got a free pit stop ahead of them, and in fact I think they might. Olsen is still running in 39th position. He's got a bit of time to make up there. Liebert is in the pits and has been in there quite some time. Not looking at car, not looking at any damage. Oh, now is Liebert a solo driver? No. No, I thought Liebert was one of the solo drivers, but 'tis not. He checks, and there is Harry Goswell. Oof, very close to that tyre barrier again. The drivers do love to get their wing mirrors as close to there as possible. Goswell still just outside the top 5. These cars do sound so good. And Manznika ahead. Back out of the pits in the Aston. We saw them off tracks earlier. We got some cars past. Oh, Goswell's just had an incident. In the Nürburgring section of the track. That one is not going to go away anytime soon. Oh, the back of the car went away very quickly there. Yeah, Goswell doing well to get that back on track quickly. Jan Barth is back behind the wheel, I see. Oh, Sobolewski has had a yellow flag. What's going on there? Oh, the number 16 having a bit of a run of it at the moment. That is another spin as Sven Paul comes in to the pit, so we're going to have a much better idea who's doing what on the pit stops very, very shortly as more cars come piling in. Morev and Teixeira have swapped positions. The Lexus you would favour to make it back past the Ferrari in a straight line. And it's almost like a GT3 versus a GT4 with those two, isn't it? Look at that. Yeah, as a Ferrari fan, I am humbled. Absolutely not even a competition in a straight line. My apologies, totally unprofessional. Difficult to keep a straight face when you see that much of a face differential, though. They bob the drivers here, not the cars, but yeah, that would happen no matter what the bop is. The Lexus is an absolute king in a straight line, but on the brakes, as you can see, the Ferrari is nothing to be sneered at, that is for sure. Through a shortened version of the Mercedes Arena and straight down the hill towards turn number 5. Can he get it done through the twisty stuff? There's enough straight line through the Schumacher S for the Lexus to keep ahead, and then of course we've got Ad Van Bogen, so it would be advantage Morev at the moment. You would think. We'll see if my beloved Ferrari can catch up to Teixeira, doing everything he can on the brakes. Look how much closer he gets when you are jamming the anchors on that Ferrari. But up the hill, look at the Lexus just absolutely disappear. And I realise realise that's not... Oh, he's had a bit of a wiggle though. He's maybe been too committed there. He's got the advantage in that car, but he's thrown it away ever so slightly. Teixeira getting much closer under braking this time. And down into Ad Van Bogen, the Lexus taking a very wide line, does keep it between the Mayo and the Mustard and absolutely disappears off into the distance, but certainly could have made that a much easier affair up at the top of the hill there. Through the final chicane, the Ferrari again is going to be the more nimbler car if they both nail it right, and they do. But then we get into the real twisty stuff, but the Lexus has got track position, and that can be absolute king around here. And on the Dottinger Straight, it's going to be bye Lexus, but certainly Teixeira trying his best to hang on in there. Richie, let's do our little detective work again. Oh, he's got 15 minutes left of his stint. There we go. The camera has stayed. It doesn't often do that. We need to figure out how we got that to work. So yeah, less than 15 minutes of his stint, and he is in the Nürburgring, so he's going to be in at the end of his lap. So that's going to bring him into the pits. That's going to put Angel back in the lead. It's all down to the pit stops. Teixeira. Yeah, we're going to have to stay on with these two, aren't we? Quite frankly, because they are battling away. Paglier comes into the pits. Schwander in the Audi's got a big yellow flag there. That one really has popped up on the radar. We'll get a look at that in a moment. I'm going to stay on board though and see how the Lexus does manage to fend off the Ferrari through this section of the track. It's really tight and twisty through here. The Ferrari really getting close to that Lexus back seat as they exit. Oh, and the Lexus is once again run wide, too committed on the curb, and it's really inviting the Ferrari into play. And the Ferrari finding the door very firmly closed. It wasn't alongside there. I think there was the slightest splitter on splitter action between the two of them. Those headlights absolutely glaring at the back of the Lexus at the minute. Oh, through turn 25, this one's such a tight, twisty one. How close can the Ferrari get? You can see there's no width in the track there. And even thinking about getting past, he's flashed the lights to try and distract the Lexus driver behind, but the Lexus has got a little bit of a breakaway here. Then we're going to be on the anchors for the double left. And back round, fully round to the right. Little bit of tarmac for the Lexus to stretch his leg. Oh, Song Angel with a yellow flag. Is that coming in the pits? Angel. It's on an incident. Oh dear, we watched the replays. These two are dueling it out for top 10 honours. Marev really is fending him off at the minute. Teixeira is so much better than Ferrari through the twisty stuff, and that is absolutely on display. Only another 6 million miles to go. He's at turn 31. It's a long way to go to get to the Dottinger Straight. Morev, he's either as calm as a coma or sweating like an absolute madman here with the pressure that the Ferrari is applying, and it is absolutely perfect pressure. He is all over the back, no quarter given the rest. Completely unflinching in his resolve to take the position and keep a hold of that slipstream. He's almost attached to the rear, he's almost attached to his tow bar. The front of the car, the Lexus again, look how close he gets, just right there, perfect execution on the brakes. He's absolutely got the Lexus number through the corners, knows he can't get past. The Lexus is going to pull away through here though. He is going to have that speed, again, there we go. It doesn't even need to be straight, as long as it is flat down on the floor, the Lexus will stretch out the gap. Even in the slipstream, the Ferrari is going to struggle to hang there. Right, let's quickly have a look and see what's happened to Son Angel. This is through the Schumacher S. Everything looks fine there, up to Klein Curve. Oh, a little bit of contact on the rear from the GT4, so a yellow flag because he was off track. Thankfully, is still running though. The Lexus is still doing the running as well. Oh, and that is the Lexus going on board. But we want to share his car. There we go. Still full disco lights there, and that's probably going at the same pace as Marev's heart at the minute. Although, yeah, I'm extrapolating here that Teixeira is as calm as a coma. He's had some serious control through some of these corners. The Lexus looking to stretch home, really stretch out that advantage that they've got. Some nice little straightaways before we get to the dotting here, but again, it's not even a contest on the brakes, is it? Just takes 2 or 3 corners back to back, and suddenly the Ferrari is absolutely breathing down. Wow, the crowd has actually trebled since earlier on. They're all out for the nighttime action. The sparks flying out the car do look good at night. Let's see how these two look along the dotting arc. Can Teixeira. Oh, and the Lexus has binned it almost. Very nearly binning it there. The Lexus far too committed on that corner exit. That's wheels on the grass, and that is positions lost. And unbelievably, that didn't come up as a yellow flag. So let's see if we can see this from on board with Dreyer. A little bit of a, let me just put my teeth in the right way around. A little bit of a wiggle there. Oh yeah, no, that's too much. That is too much, and there goes a very patient Teixeira, and that's exactly what he needed to do. Unfortunately for him, unless the Lexus has lost a lot of time, which he has not. It's probably going to be the same position on the next lap, Marev. 1.5 down though as they get onto the dotting arc. Oh wow, is this enough for Teixeira to hold on to the position? There is the Lexus headlights glistening in the background. Certainly is a beautiful sight for us. It's one that Teixeira will hope gets smaller and smaller. As he's getting closer, he's found 0.2 of a second as we reach the halfway mark of the straight. There's another 0.3 of a second. There's Adam right behind him. Has a yellow flag. So does Julian Vidal in 24th place. The Porsche and the BMWs both on home soil. Both currently stationary. Marev has over half the gap. Oh, as we've got an Aston Martin, Porsche GT4. That is Gamer Extreme, I believe. Back out, so the gap has absolutely reduced by a fair chunk. Sorry, yes, we will have George Cook very soon. Sorry, just got a couple of notifications. Not sure. Okay. Aha, there we go. Perfect. Teixeira's come into the pits then. So after all that extrapolation, Teixeira has come into the pits. There is Pavlik's car on the way out. It does take a sector for the telemetry to upload who it is, so it might be Pavlik. But it is the car, it is car number 113 that we've seen inside the top 10, where Teixeira's come in from the pits. Richie has to come in at the end of this lap actually. He's only going to have 7 minutes left. If he stays out and crosses the line, so will be into the pits. That is going to put Angel back in the lead. The gap now 30 seconds. Yep, sorry, we're going to get a couple of things, extra bits and pieces set up for the stream. Should make it look very good for the closing stages. And there is wow, Richie already in the pits and stationary. No messing about. We've got Fabian Prost, who's been looking very quick in 5th position as well. Got Grayton Cord ahead. So this one closing in nicely. There is Richie in the pits, there is Son Angel already through. 2 hours left to go. This is all down to who's coming in to the pits when. Absolutely love to see it. Gadolski is leading the way in the GT4s still. He has got a phenomenal gap over Heslin, who's got an even more phenomenal gap over Liebner. That is still increasing. Liebner, again, having a good race. But it is easy to get big gaps opened up here at the Nordschleife. But Liebner in the McLaren, definitely not out of the podium hunt. With what we've seen, Maznika still in the pits. Gamer Extreme in the pits as well, still in the GT4. Liebert is back out and 2 laps down on the cars ahead as Hajex in the same position comes into the pits. I think Coopers is going to be overtaken by a couple of GT4s again. That's him coming into the pits. Yep, so he is going to be overtaken by Gadolski again. Yeah, so we'll see where he comes back out. Angel is in the lead. Richie, 53 seconds down. Wow. Absolutely game on up at the front, and Prost is certainly looking to make it game on for positions in the top 5. But there he is in the Twitch chat. Crazy good Kung Fu. Shameless plug, give that man a follow. Founder of TrackSpot TV. And a phenomenal streamer as well, so make sure you right click on his name, give him a follow. He's going to be joining us in the comedy box very shortly. We will do an off-air update to get George up to speed. He would have known what was going on, but he was asleep because he's in New Zealand, and it is about 8 o'clock in the morning there, I believe. 9 o'clock in the morning, maybe? So yeah, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt on that one, and yeah, we'll get some extra camera angles as well, which is going to look phenomenal, so we can keep a constant eye on the GT4s and as much of the action as possible. I still think Prost is the way to go at the minute. 1.8 seconds down. That is looking like a gap that is closing. Hajex and Goswell just coming out the pits. There is Harry behind the wheel. Will Goswell ahead. Maznika out of the pits as well. They've got 41st overall. A yellow flag for Goswell. Yeah, I think he was just moving over to let a GT3 car. Eric Paw. Absolutely no missing that Mustang. Oh, Platt in the Porsche with the yellow flag. The car's still finding their way off track. James Perry finding his way into the pits. Tell you, this podium battle is going absolutely down to the wire. So dark on the Dottinger Straight. Let's see what Prost can do along there. Perry is still in the pit, so these two are going to get close. The gap between Prost and Graincourt at 1.8, and sitting pretty steady as they get to the second bridge. So that is a good exit by Graincourt onto the Dottinger. The gap staying exactly the same, but Prost obviously in the Ferrari against the BMW. You'd expect the BMW to gain a couple of tenths at least, so yeah, Prost definitely getting the job done, although, as I say, that is the exit in the Nordschleife. Oh, and in fact, Perry's just coming out of the pits. Yeah, Perry is just out of the pits, so that's hugely dropped that gap. He's not quite within, not quite within striking distance of these two. Camellia Otto coming into the pits. From 6th position. Julian Vidal is still in there. That's quite a lengthy one. Oh, could be penalties, of course. I can't see the full penalties. And I'm going to leave that closed just in case, because yeah, we've got a few more bits and pieces coming on stream as I mentioned, which should look very good indeed. There's Liebner in that darkness. Jan Barth. Oh yeah, so he's just gone past as well, bit of a white flag. Fair bit to go, so Vidal could, yeah, Vidal is now moving once again, but yeah, that was a lengthy pit stop by the look of it. We'll see if it's still Vidal behind the wheel. We'll see if across there's Dreher. Comes into the pits. Yeah, Dreher and Otto come into the pits. What I'll do is we'll leave you with some action. I think Moraev is right behind Otto. Yeah, so enjoy the action for a couple of moments. I will be back momentarily with the man himself, crazy good kung fu, Mr. George Cook. So yeah, enjoy this battle and back in a moment. Good evening. There we go. A couple of technical things in the background. Bit of an update. As you can see, we've now got picture in picture that will be controlled by my more than able assistant. He is the absolute wonder from down under, and I can confirm he knows Kung Fu. It's Mr. Crazy Good Kung Fu himself, George Cook, here to join me for the closing hour and 45 minutes of the 10 hours of the Nordschleife from ACM. And good morning, George, as it is 9:30 in the morning. You've got to tolerate my terrible jokes.
That's all right, John, and pleasure to be here on the ACM channel. You know, lots of history here with the Endurance Series, and I'm really looking forward to the closing couple of hours here on the broadcast. It is not that early here, actually. Thank you, Daylight Savings. We don't get to thank it often in the year. This time we do. Everyone's a little bit weary-eyed over there. I'm sure you've all been going for a long time. It's been a long race. But from what I've seen, much earlier in the morning, been some really exciting racing. Nordschleife, 10-hour event. Really love this, and honestly, looking forward to seeing more.
Yeah, and we are definitely going to see more. I gave George a quick update on, well, basically on the battle for the lead. There's quite a few cars that have made up some good places. We did see one Pastor Maldonado in the race as well, but unfortunately was disconnected twice, potentially 3 times. Unfortunately didn't make it back in again. Given the pace, I would argue it was the actual Pastor Maldonado, because absolutely closing the gaps. We've definitely seen Vossi Tigris, absolutely monster spin there. Let's jump on a replay of that one. If it'll hold together, it just about does. Also just exiting the Nürburgring and heading into the Nordschleife itself, in the car on the curves, a quick rotation. And it doesn't really get much worse than that. Could not be a more awkward angle. You'd almost prefer you were actually facing completely the wrong way, so you could just smash a quick J-turn in. Finds himself with a GT4 just in front, and pulls past very nicely indeed. And we've got Platin in and out of the pits. But yeah, George, you are one of these absolutely insane drivers that genuinely loves this track, don't you?
170 corners of pure bliss, in my opinion. I absolutely love this place. It is bumpy, it is dangerous, it takes a lot of skill, a lot of concentration, and especially in a long race like this, you do get into a situation where small mistakes can crop up, and that was, we just saw for the Ferrari 716 car, a very small mistake that led to a rather awkward positioning of the car. You do have to do that old 3-point turn, you know, reverse back out of there, get yourself straightened up. Luckily there was no traffic around. They're kind of locked in the area of the GT4 cars at the moment. And yeah, we do have a question in the chat around the 257 having a penalty. It's a 10-second penalty at the moment, point in the car. It's a McLaren, but unfortunately we do not know exactly what that penalty was for. You can check in the Discord for details on why penalties were given. That's the ACM Discord. Make sure you go in there and check it out. But John, it is a track that is very, very dangerous in these darker conditions. You know, when it's light, when you can see the track a little bit more, you can be a little bit more familiar with your braking zones, where the bumps are on the track, and there are a lot of them. There's 170 corners. I bet that there's at least 1,000 bumps all along this track that you need to be very, very aware of. Even with the increased ride height of the cars by default on this track, any setup here is usually configured for a lower downforce effect. As you get through Galgenkopf and onto the Dotting-to-Hoe straight, you do need to take advantage of that speed. So it's a real balance of safety versus velocity at a circuit like this. But certainly in these later hours, once you've done a couple of stints, you are in a situation where you really, really need to take some time. And that is number 55 car turned around just with following through on the number 79. But we've seen the 55 car having a bit of an issue and just coming up towards the last carousel. But yeah, John, honestly, it's a fantastic circuit. I think a lot of people love it. It's my favorite introduction track-wise across the entire ACC platform. Was so stoked when we got this circuit. 25 kilometers, 15 miles of pure bliss, as I said before. But boy, oh boy, you have to be really, really onto it. And you can see these small mistakes cropping in for some of the drivers out there.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, there has been, as you say, the odd mistake cropping in here or there. Right the way through the race, no one has really been spared. Sorry, just doing some tidying up. Boonstra though, 12th position, looking for an overtake. Bear with me a moment, I'm just going to very quickly move this about. My apologies, that looks terrible, but there we go, we can now get everything on screen. Perfect. Coming into Tiergarten. We are on board with Boonstra in the Porsche, all over the back of Nocentini, who's done well to get back up to 11th position, but Boonstra in the Porsche. Yeah, and it's one of these tracks, George, as I'm sure you will absolutely testify as well. You can definitely see the different characteristics. We saw Lexus versus a Ferrari not too long ago. We know how that goes in a straight line and through the twisty stuff, and it's very much the same here as we see the Aston Martin in the Porsche tooling out for 11th position.
Right, and confirmation, the 257 got a penalty for outbraking himself and rear-ending the leader ever so slightly. About a 10-second penalty was the decision by the steward. Full stewarding team here, of course, for all of you that know. And this is the battle for the ages, this one. You got MR versus FR. It's Aston Martin in front. It will pull away, usually in the straight lines. It's got great torque, great power to the car. Its cornering ability not as significant, though, as the Porsche. If you can keep it under control, that is. And I have to admit, Boonstra is doing a good job with that Porsche. Using a slightly wider line, holding a bit more apex speed, the Porsche is able to do that really, really effectively. Look at them go through the Schumacher S's here. Lovely line there from the Aston Martin. Actually gets a really nice little gap over Boonstra. So no opportunity for him as we head into the next section here. Ravenel, love this corner. Beautiful flowing part of the section of the Nürburgring GP course, John. And honestly, I mean, I don't know what I like better, the GP course or the Nordschleife. I think it's the Nordschleife, but I feel a little bit more comfortable, a little bit safer on the GP course.
Apologies, gulped down my tea far too quickly there. Yeah, I was saying earlier, I've never actually completed a lap of this course. The Nordschleife. Because I just can't do it.
I'll have to take you.
Yeah.
I'll have to take you for a test drive. That's what I'll have to do. We'll put you in a McLaren, and yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that's the one. You can just. It's all right. We'll go slow. We'll get you in a GD4 car. It'll be all right. Actually, good point on that. GD4 cars. They are a very interesting beast to drive around the Nordschleife. Obviously a little bit slower, do react a little bit more to some of the bumps, some of the curbs, and that can be a really tricky situation with the GT3 cars around, and I'm not 100% sure who's leading that at the moment. It looks like it's Gadowski in the 237 in the lead of the GT4s right now, down in 35th position, and doing quite well, quite a significant distance ahead of the second place there in GT4 class. So nice to see Multiclass at Nordschleife as well. Really happy about that.
Yeah, it certainly is good to see, and they've been doing well. I'll tell you, Gadowski, as I mentioned to you before we switch the microphones back live, he has had an absolute worldie of a race, up to 35th position, and comfortably leading the way, although, yeah, certainly the team chasing him, Blanchette, has been, yeah, absolutely phenomenal as well. His teammate, whose name has absolutely escaped me, of course. Heslin. Of course it is Heslin. He's got some fans in the chat as well. Again, anyone in the chat, I was asking earlier, let's, who are you cheering on? Let us know. We can have a look at some of the cars as much as we can. It's good to see some of these in the headlights. There are some cars in the pit, in fact. 34th, we're back on there with Boonstra. Was that a disconnect or just someone in the pits?
Looks like a reset to pits. So Sobolewski and the number 16 car appeared to have a bit of an issue. Not quite sure exactly where that happened on track, but it was a pretty major crash. I saw the end of it. And then they unfortunately decided resetting to the pits was going to be the fastest way to get that car repaired. So they're going to be dropping positions quite substantially. This battle on track, though, has been going on for a while, and it's still continuing. I'm really impressed with the Aston Martin driver holding off the Porsche. That's going to become increasingly difficult through the remainder of this circuit up until the back straight, which is where the Aston Martin's going to be hoping to get. A little bit of a run there on the grass for Boonstra, so not the best line as they head through into the chicane, but a decent exit for both cars, and safe, respectful driving by both.
Yeah, it is. They are keeping it very neat. No crazy manoeuvres tried by either driver, which yeah, absolutely makes sense. look at that force exhaust below, and the engine sounds absolutely phenomenal. I know we shouldn't use chase car, but some of these engines are absolutely well worthy of it. Hoping to 11 wins, says Cody Maverick in voice chat with him. Yep, he is doing 10 hours of the Nordschleife solo. You did not hear that incorrectly. We've also got Cedric Larinch, who's back up in the top 20 after the tough start. He's doing the race solo as well. Julian Vidal is solo also. Pav Gadowski, the GT4 leader, he is also solo. Gamer Extreme, been in the pits for a while, but is doing the race solo as well. I do think there was one other driver started the race solo and is no longer in the server, unfortunately. Still do have 47 of the 60 cars that started the race in Nordschleife as a crew mistress. 45 cars left. It's it's completely unforgiving, George, because again, there's just so many issues that you could have here. Because if you do have an issue, you could potentially still have 12 miles to make it back to the pit stop, and they're never easy miles, as we've seen from these onboard shots. And I've said it again earlier on, the track is just so unforgiving. It's just absolutely relentless. You get onto what seems like a straight bit of tarmac, and the road is bumps, there's almost potholes. It's just, it's absolutely, exponentially worse getting, making a mistake and picking up some damage at the start of the lap here, obviously with it being so long, and it's one of the absolute nightmares that the drivers face around here.
Yeah, small mistakes, and there's no real part of the Nordschleife that is flat and completely flat in terms of side by side or up and down. There's always some sort of camber happening, whether it's a pitch up, pitch down, pitch left, pitch right. It is a completely dynamic surface all the way through the race, which is one of the reasons why I absolutely love it. Really, the only flat surface in the entire track is the Nürburgring GP pit straight. It's the only place you're really going to see it at the end of the day. It is a tricky place, but at the end of the day, I really do think, John, we're going to have to get you in a car. I'm thinking about this more and more now. We're going to have to get you in a car and get you to go around this place. I do have to say, Sonnet Angel, my new favourite person on track right now, driving a McLaren and solo in an event at Nordschleife, my hat's off. But hats off to all the solo drivers here. 10 hours of driving at this place is very difficult. That said, from experience, when I have done endurance driving around here, because it is, 8, sometimes 9-minute track, that's a mistake from Boonstra. So what hope he had of getting past this lap has probably evaporated ever so slightly. Small mistake just before the second carousel is not the place you want to be doing that, because you're going to lose a big chunk of slipstream down the straight, and that Aston Martin is going to start driving away from you. But as I was saying, 8 minutes 17 seconds or 8 minutes 30 lap times here, that full hour, that full stint of driving does tend to go by relatively quickly. You come here for a bit of practice and you can whittle away 2, 3, 4 hours very, very quickly just in practice, and you don't really realize that the time has gone. And that was another mistake there, von Ringston, I believe.
Just bringing up a replay. He's in turn 1 at the moment, so this is off the Dottinger straight into the Nürburgring. Oh, in the back of the car has just said no thank you. Oh yeah, 180 spin. Has managed a 180 reverse spin to get back on track again, but von Ringston has dropped a fair bit of time there, bit of a dent. James Wiseman, one of the cars on a comeback drive, the big brain BMW, another car that dropped down the order after a tough start, but they're back up to 31st position. Romery in the IKEA BMW, another one in the same boat. Still up at the front, Son Angel is in the lead of the race. What I'm talking about, like a madman for poor George. 46 seconds though, because Richie in second place is closing that gap once again. We've got an hour and a half left to go, 65-minute stint timers for the drivers, but they are hugely impacted upon, of course, by the mere 9-minute lap that they've got to go through. And it has been an incredible change in the conditions as well. We started with sunny 31-degree track and a 1 km/h wind. It's now full cloud cover, 18-degree track, 6 kilometre never mind. And that can definitely make a difference in his Boonstra. Going to make a difference to the finishing position of Nocentini at this point. That gap back down to a second, it looks like. And it is through the twisty stuff, so it is no surprise, George, that is where we see Boonstra looking to pounce again. Just needs to tidy up these mistakes that we're seeing, and that is definitely an overtake. Oh, that we can see happening just as I say that, has a bit of a bounce on the chicane, exiting the Nürburgring, and it's just those little niggles that are going to keep Boonstra back there in 12th position.
Yeah, it's a tricky one for the Porsche. I mean, the setup decisions early on in the race, 8.5 hours ago, are so critical at the stage of the race, especially when you're following another car. When you know that you're faster, you can see how much time they're gaining already through this tricky medium to high speed section of the start of the Nordschleife. And the Porsche just comes alive during this section. It's got a great balance to the car. He'll have plenty of rear wing and aero running on the car, especially compared to the BMW. Now with a bit of GT4 traffic ahead of them too, it is an opportunity here potentially to get past, but a convenient location for the Aston Martin. Gives a flash of the light, says, look, you need to get out of my way. Well, a little bit of a skip with the grass there for Boonstra. Both of them get through nicely, and you'll see again through this section the Aston Martin will actually be completely fine. They'll be safe. It's the higher speed corners that they're safe in. It's where you get to the low, medium, and some of the lower high speed corners. That's where the Porsche really does come alive. So through into this section now, up into Arenberg, we should see a really good run by the Porsche as they hit the brakes. Aston Martin also very, very good on the brakes, but you'll just see the apex speed much higher, and that is Boonstra nearly finding a way on the inside. Bit of an oversteer or understeer moment for the Aston Martin. That's scary for them. They've held off this Porsche for so long, and they just need to hold on for another hour and a half, John. No sweat, no problem.
Yeah, absolutely not a problem. No sweat will be dropped, that is for sure. Yeah, to within 3/10. Grettencord into the pits. That put David Sparks up into third place. What a race that BMW has had as well, and they're looking good for holding on to, if not a top 5, that podium positions certainly looking good at the minute. They've got a big gap over Grettencord, who's now stationary. We'll see where Fabian Prost and Zocklin go in. There it is, Prost going past Boonstra, still unable to go past at the minute. The Aston fending off exactly where they need to. Just holding that racing line. A lot more twisty stuff to go before that beloved, the Aston's beloved home ground and running patch, the Dottinger Straight, where they can get straight up ahead, or get much further ahead in those timing towers. The GT4 race leader is now 200 seconds ahead, so over 3 minutes ahead of Blanchette. Does have a pit stop to take pretty soon. George is going to stay on board with Boonstra because that is an absolutely fascinating tussle as we have a look at the GT4s. There is Blanchette. Sobolewski is now in 35th. He's taken over the wheel of the Ferrari, and Wiseman did indeed come back out behind the GT4s as well. P2 with a big penalty. With
15 seconds.
15 seconds. Oh, wow. Yeah, that is going to do big things up at the front. I tell you what. Renault hanging in there. Renault Ritchie hanging in there, but that is going to be... yeah, that effectively puts that gap back to a minute. Angel will be in the pits approximately 15 minutes sooner than Ritchie. Then Ritchie will be in to serve the penalty. It was a 53-second gap the last time they came out of the pits. It could be a bit more than that, despite Ritchie's efforts at the moment, which are absolutely not to be sneezed at. His pace in these conditions is absolutely incredible compared to the rest of the field. Never mind just Angel. I mean, Angel is moving at an absolute clip compared to the rest of the field himself. But certainly, Ritchie, you know, he's getting the absolute maximum out of the car on those tyres. That is for absolutely certain. Boonstra is still looking to get past Aston Martin, but we're now getting into home turf for Nocentini. Nocentini has played this absolutely perfect, George. We're now getting to Boonstra, almost going off track. We're now very much getting into straight end, top end speed territory here. Plenty of space for the Aston to stretch its legs, and that is almost instantly playing itself out on track. And the Dottinger Straight is going to be a bit of a lonely place for Boonstra in the Porsche by the look of it.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I have to take my hat off to Nocentini and the 164 Aston Martin. They've been playing things really, really cleverly. They clearly don't have the speed through the apex in these low, medium, high speed corners. And they have just been planting it right where they need to. Stick on the racing line, don't give an inch, minimize the mistakes as much as possible, and just relax. There's really nowhere good to overtake through the Nordschleife unless you make a mistake and give up the racing line. As soon as you get up that racing line, that's it. It's game over for a car like the Aston Martin through the Nordschleife. The Porsche will rock on by. You do have a chance to re-overtake them back on the straight, but Nocentini's been very clever and very calm through the situation, I have to say. He may not be feeling so calm, but certainly his driving style has been very calm in the situation. And Boonstra, on the other hand, you can see, oh, that's a mistake there from Nocentini, and it's going to be right past for the Porsche, and that's game over. That's exactly what I was saying. Maybe a little bit of a commentator's curse there, John. We'll leave that one for the chat to decide, I think. But that's exactly what I was saying. One small mistake, you get off the racing line, that's it. Still an opportunity here for the Aston Martin to stretch its legs, but don't think that gap is close enough to get any whiff of slipstream, and probably no more chance, at least this lap, for Nocentini to get back. So now he'll have to go into focus mode, stop relaxing as much, and do essentially what Boonstra was doing and start driving the wheels off the car.
Yeah, indeed, he absolutely is. He really is going to have to absolutely go for it on this lap through the Nordschleife, because despite the overwhelming advantage that the Aston Martin's got, it's only managed to gain him 0.3 of a second as they head into Tiergarten. And through this last chicane, such a tricky corner. You can see about every single corner here, there's quite a few. But across that start-finish line, the Boonstra doing exactly what he needed to. Again, through the twisty stuff, through that chicane, completely negates almost the entirety of the work that the Aston did in the straight line into turn number 1. 1.8 seconds is the gap, and Boonstra nimbly nips through turns 1 and 2, absolutely nails those exits. Wow, and it just goes to show you how detrimental the smallest mistake here can be at the Nordschleife. We've still got an hour and 22 minutes left to go, so who knows. So we're going to see, a change to the lead. Sorry, on you go, George.
That's quite alright. You know, I mean, just a final comment on that. I mean, the Porsche now released. It's going to be very difficult for the Aston Martin. Every single corner, the apex speed difference is going to make a huge impact on that delta between the two cars. And Nocentini, just by the looks of that last few corners that we caught before we headed into another lap, probably not going to have a good chance to overtake again. So we'll be hoping for a mistake up front with Boonstra. We're on board now with Poor, 1.5 seconds behind P24, Bath up there in the number 81 car, I believe it is. And this should be a little battle that's starting to evolve here. An hour and 21 minutes to go, John. So we're expecting some more pit stops, probably in the next 10 to 15 minutes, maybe a little bit longer than that. And you generally don't want to do much more than an hour on a set of tyres here at the Nordschleife, because it's such a brutal track on the tyres. PSIs are going to be recalculated rather rapidly by the race engineers, but this is some good progress by the 36 right now. Already cut out a couple of tenths in this last couple of corners.
Yeah, the Mustang is looking very good. Bart's car has been involved in quite a few battles. We have some of the opening highlights were absolutely incredible. We'll get them shared after the race. It was quite the start, but yeah, 24th position they're in at the moment. They've been chased down by the Mustang, Paw up and over, almost zero gravity mode there as he went up and over the hill. It's one of those corners that just completely catches me out when I'm round here. It is, yeah, pretty ridiculous. But Paul is still chasing down Bart at the moment. They've got almost 3 minutes to make up to Vidal ahead. Vidal, one of the solo drivers, still running 23rd position. That is quite the feat in itself. Sobolewski in the GT3s has got past Blanchette and is now closing up on Godowski. Oh, Mikael Larsson with a yellow flag. Oh no, that's 366. Yeah, let's have a quick look and see what's going on there. Yeah, frame rate started tanking again, but it does look like it is just about still running. Oh, the final chicane of the Nürburgring now throwing up a few issues for some of the drivers. There is Larsson finding out the hard way that you have to respect the track at all times.
The Ferraris are not amazing cars in that last section. Having driven one myself in an endurance race, the last section there and the way you generally set up the Ferraris, they do end up bouncing quite a lot because you need a looser suspension configuration for the Ferraris to really get that front end to do what it's supposed to do. The 296 has got such a great front end to it, and it does catch into, you know, when you steer in, the front end really does respond very, very well. But with the higher ride height default here, the Ferrari starts to get very, very loose and very understeery. So you do end up in a weird situation where you kind of need to do a little bit of modification to it and get it into a better zone. And I tell you, that last couple of corners when you get on the brakes, that rear end does not want to play ball at all. We've seen a couple of Ferraris caught out there already, even in the last 20 minutes or so. Every Ferrari driver loves most parts of this track. Oh, bit of a mistake there for points. Got a car coming through too. But as I was saying, John, the Ferraris, every time you get up to that part of the circuit, you start to panic just a little bit. It's a very, very fine line between doing it right and wrong for the Ferraris in that last section. Every car's got their section at Nordschleife that doesn't feel quite right, that the car doesn't behave as it really should. For the McLarens, it's when you go over the bump and into the double right-hander. The car does not want to play ball whatsoever. For the Ferraris, it's that last corner, and there's another mistake. It's Naim having a bit of a run off the track there onto the dirt. Not ideal for the tyres, and that's just before the last carousel as well, currently in P17.
Yeah, just a bit of a run right there once again. A couple more cars in and out of the pits as a few more cars find their way off track pretty consistently now. Still watching that gap up at the front. Richie and Angel, 44 seconds. Angel, Richie absolutely bouncing that car off the bottom there. Naeem is the car we're on board, but Eric Paw is the one that I'm looking for because he is right on the back of Jan Barth. If you jump on his bonnet, it's Aston versus Mustang. Is the Brits versus the Americans here in the German countryside. As the raves go on, it's going to be the Aston Martin with a bit of work to do. The Mustang is no slouch in a straight line, so this is going to be no easy feat for Barth to fend them off along the Dottinger Straight, given how much Paul has closed up over the last lap. Now within 3/10 of a second, a good exit once again. And in fact, if you're on there, I will jump on. Oh yeah, no, the Aston has got a terrible rear bumper camera. It really is not a very good one for oh no, why have I gone on to Julian Vidal? My apologies, bear with me a moment, I've jumped on the wrong car. There we go, sack the broadcaster. Absolutely giving these books. Barth and Polo 1 second apart, and this is more of a fascinating one here, Sean, because George.
Yep. Hi.
Yeah, it's because I've spent the last 12 weeks commentating with Sean, but there we go. My goodness me. My apologies to both of you. I'm not sure who should be more offended by that.
Not at all.
But yeah, Paul and Barth are in the Aston and the Mustang. Certainly a different kettle of fish entirely to any battle involving a Porsche. Both of these cars are good in a straight line, and Barth could be under pressure, but could quite easily fend them off. It's absolutely on a knife edge with the two of them on the Dottinger.
Yeah, the Ford versus the Aston Martin is a very different beast in terms of the battle. You know, it's not MR versus FR. The Ford is incredibly good through most of the corners, but you know, the way that Vidal and the car, the body language of the car is looking at the moment, look pretty secure for the most part, and you're fairly equal in top speed. So it's not a huge amount of gains so far, even being well within the slipstream range. 0.8 of a second is the gap at the moment, and that has not decreased at all. So these cars are neck and neck in terms of their top speed, even with the slipstream for the Ford. But you can see the Ford will have a bit of an advantage into the braking zones. It's really good on that, and it's a more comfortable car with the higher ride height. The Aston Martin setup has to be a little bit different. You're doing some pretty interesting, bizarre things with the Aston Martin setup. But the Ford, and when it came in, introduced to the game originally, it was a bit overpowered, some would say, because it just seems to be a monster at every single circuit. You can see into the braking zone there yet again. Vidal in the 81 car just not able to get the car slowed down nearly as quickly as the Ford, and that's where its big advantage is going to be. So that's great for overtaking, John. That means that when you do get close enough, you can send it on the brakes. You know you're going to get the car slowed down, and you're going to be ahead of the car ahead. Racing line will be all yours. And really for Eric Poor right now, just needs to manage being in the dirty air, just holding on at the moment, keeping those tyres in a decent enough range. Lost a bit of time through those last couple of corners. Aston Martin was great out of those last corners. But into Goodyear, let's have a little look. Is there any advantage gained here? A little bit on the brakes, but the Aston Martin sailing off towards the Schumacher S's. Once again, this is going to be a good battle. I think the big advantage of the Ford is going to be the end of the Nordschleife through the higher speed corners and where the braking really starts to matter.
Yeah, I would say so. There's Lawrence just exiting the pits, the solo driver, back out in 21st position as Barth and Paul 24th and 25th still, so great recovery there, and this battle is going to continue on. Through Advan Bogan they go, and once again slight advantage to the Aston before they get to the curbs. Oh, they've both gone through very neatly. Netherresolve has come into the pits as well. So we'll start. George and John, my two favourite commentators, says Isaac Fogg. Good evening, welcome back in. Thank you very much. I'm glad you enjoy the workmanship. Yeah, George here. Of course in New Zealand, so he is in the future. Already knows the lottery results and never shares them. It's terrible.
I take pride. You just haven't given me enough money yet. Yeah. I'm a benevolent futurist. Let's put it that way.
He is indeed. He is indeed.
Try and maintain the order of the world. That's right. Don't mess with the timeline, kids. That's the motto of the story. Yeah, welcome in, Isaac. Good to have you here. He's Isaac is a friend of ours.
For 12,
oh, here we go.
Swervegar. He's under serious pressure as Brett Bailey in George's beloved McLaren, looking for a move before the exit the Nürburgring. George. Oh, Swervegar just runs a bit wide, but he's managing to fend him off. Bailey is going to have the car nailed through the twisty stuff. This is a cracking little battle unfolding here.
Yeah, McLaren needed that opportunity and needed it to stick. Sadly for Bailey, it did not. So the car ahead will continue. But yeah, this is a good little battle that's boiling here. Brett Bailey, of course, American driver. Had some good split times that I've been looking at for this McLaren. I've looked through all the McLarens and they're all going pretty quick. So don't count out the McLaren at any stage of this race. But similar to the Porsche, great in the corners, on the straight, depending on the setup. You've got really... there's a very black and white setup for the McLarens. They will either be set up for speed in the corners or speed in the straight, and they are absolutely hopeless at the other thing when you tune them for that. So if this car, by the looks of it, I would say it's probably tuned for the corners, just given the way that it is approaching the BMW ahead. But I tell you, the McLaren is a fun machine to drive at this circuit. By fun, I mean very bouncy, very bumpy, very, very quick. And in the hands of a good driver like Bailey, it will be in a good position. I mean, 14th at the moment is good work by them right now in this race. I'm not sure where they started off the race at. John, you might be able to inform us on that. But the three-person team, Gaia Axelin, Kars Keppers and Brett Bailey, fans of the McLaren, which means I'm fans of them.
He's not biased
by
at
default.
All. Yeah, by default.
No,
by
no,
default. No, definitely not biased here. Forza Ferrari. But yeah, no, they've been. They have been more than just a bit up and down, so yeah, it's been a phenomenal comeback drive for the McLaren. Well, I say comeback drive. It's an endurance race at the Nordschleife. If you haven't had to make back 17 positions, then have you even tried? Have you even enjoyed the race? Probably not. Really,
that's right. Minimum pit stops here of, like, you can plan to have 9 pit stops here. You're not going to have 9 pit stops here. You're going to have 11. You're going to have 12. You're going to have mistakes. It's just the nature of the circuit. Even if you do a 60-minute race here, you'd think you might be, devoid of making some big mistakes and sending yourself to the pits. You're not. You're just not. And especially in an endurance setting where you're starting to get tired. You've been out there for a couple of hours, double stints for a lot of these drivers out there today. Some are doing the hour switch, switcheroo, switch over, but even that, across 10 hours of racing, you do get a little bit exhausted. That is just the truth of it, John.
Yeah, and especially driving at night, as we can see, the driver's solely dependent on those headlights, and as George has more than just alluded to, this is a track with a whole lot of undulation, it's safe to say, so you see those shadows appearing and disappearing even on what seems like straighter parts of the track. Just disappear and reappear. We've got, again, double cloud cover. The track temperature is holding at 18 degrees. It dropped 6 degrees in the opening 2 hours. Less than that, actually, about an hour and a half. We dropped 6 degrees, and Joshua Castle cannot drop Brett Bailey here. Bailey absolutely pushing for the overtake. Looks to put the car alongside, does manage to put the car alongside, is looking for the manoeuvre. Oh, there's a big contact. The BMW is down. He's bounced off one wall twice and off the right hand wall, and that is Joshua Castle. Finds his way into the wall. That is a big accident there. We'll jump on to far chase cam to see if we can see what happened. That one, I think, is going to get looked at by the stewards. He is not alongside. Oh, now does he get alongside enough here? Oh, no, he doesn't. Nope. Oh, that is so unfortunate. Such a great battle that we're having there. Bailey had a whole lot of speed there, George, but unfortunately didn't quite, well, yeah, not quite sure. Yeah, bit of contact between the two of them on a very narrow track. And that is, yeah, Castle now back in the pits, but Bailey and the McLaren taking off in the distance. Nordschleife doing Nordschleife things, and yeah, I'm sure the stewards are having a look at that one.
I'm positive they will be taking a look at that one. I mean, there was an opportunity there. There was space given. The Castle in the 24 BMW gave space on the outside line. They knew that there was a car there. They used maximum amount of the track on the outside line, but you see the McLaren, when it went over the inside curb there, maybe just slightly too shallow a line. Really the only way to sort of properly do that, and this is why Castle was in, effectively the right place, the right time, until the contact happened. Held onto the outside and was able to hold a lot more speed through that, John. But when in McLaren, they took the shallow line in, clipped the curb. It's very bumpy through that section. You usually try and avoid hitting that curb when you're taking the racing line. The car got bouncy, goes right into the rear end. There's not enough overlap, and of course it's immediately into a bit of a touch onto the tail. So unfortunately, I think that one is going to be squarely on Bailey's shoulders. Really would have had to just back out and get the better angle through the inside line to avoid that curb. It's the only safe way to do that, because this track is so difficult to overtake on. It's so thin. You really only can fit 2 cars side by side. It's the only way to do it. Castle has reset the number 24 car to the pits. That's why our timing tables are going a little bit crazy right now. So they're going to get a whole bunch of damage repaired because they bounced off 2 barriers in that contact. So really unlucky for the number 24 car, who are driving very, very well. And Bailey, I suspect, will be getting a bit of a tap on the shoulders by the stewards in the not too distant future.
I think it's worse than that. I think the reason the timing has gone wild, I think we've lost a car. Oh.
And we've actually lost the server, I believe, John. Yeah, we have lost the server with an hour and 6 minutes to go. We had 15 cars suddenly drop out, and now the connection to the server has been lost.
Yes, it has. I'll tell you what, bear with us a second. Let me see if I can bring up something. Enjoy this advert in the meantime.
Welcome to ACC Career Mode by ACM Racing. ACC Career Mode is back and better than ever, with a 3-month-long series containing over 50 races with mixed formats and challenges. Team up with friends to manage your finances, car performance, and sponsor contracts, or go solo and manage your favourite car across the whole season, utilising the daily, weekly, and monthly challenges to add some spice to your online racing. The best thing? You decide your career, with 7 different paths to choose from. Minimum effort is no effort. ACC Career Mode Quarter 1 contains 5 races a week, all stewarded and commentated live with a range of formats from 4 to 12 hour endurance races to 25-minute sprints. The full race calendar is available at acm-racing.com, with individual race sign-up taking place on SimGrid. Only available on Assetto Corsa Competizione PC European-based league. Welcome to ACC Career Mode by ACM Racing. ACC Career Mode is back and better than ever, with a 3-month-long series containing over 50 races with mixed formats and challenges. Team up with friends to manage your finances, car performance, and sponsor contracts, or go solo and manage your favourite car across the whole season, utilising the daily, weekly, and monthly challenges to add some spice to your online racing. The best thing? You decide your career, with 7 different paths to choose from. Minimum effort is no effort. ACC Career Mode Quarter 1 contains 5 races a week, all stewarded and commentated live with a range of formats from 4 to 12 hour endurance races to 25-minute sprints. The full race calendar is available at acm-racing.com, with individual race sign-up taking place on SimGrid. Only available on Assetto Corsa Competizione PC European-based league. Welcome to ACC Career Mode by ACM Racing. ACC Career Mode is back and better than ever, with a 3-month-long series containing over 50 races with mixed formats and challenges. Team up with friends to manage your finances, car performance, and sponsor contracts, or go solo and manage your favourite car across the whole season, utilising the daily, weekly, and monthly challenges to add some spice to your online racing. The best thing? You decide your career, with 7 different paths to choose from. Minimum effort is no effort. ACC Career Mode Quarter 1 contains 5 races a week, all stewarded and commentated live with a range of formats from 4 to 12 hour endurance races to 25-minute sprints. The full race calendar is available at acm-racing.com, with individual race sign-up taking place on SimGrid. Only available on Assetto Corsa Competizione PC European-based league. Welcome to ACC Career Mode by ACM Racing. ACC Career Mode is back and better than ever, with a 3-month-long series containing over 50 races with mixed formats and challenges. Team up with friends to manage your finances, car performance, and sponsor contracts, or go solo and manage your favourite car across the whole season, utilising the daily, weekly, and monthly challenges to add some spice to your online racing. The best thing? You decide your career, with 7 different paths to choose from. Minimum effort is no effort. ACC Career Mode Quarter 1 contains 5 races a week, all stewarded and commentated live with a range of formats from 4 to 12 hour endurance races to 25-minute sprints. The full race calendar is available at acm-racing.com, with individual race sign-up taking place on SimGrid. Only available on Assetto Corsa Competizione PC European-based league.
Yes, hello, George and I are back once again. We're going to have a quick look at, we've got 5 minutes of highlights that we're going to run. We have had a server crash. We will see what is happening. The Discord is alive, as you would imagine. There will be an announcement out very shortly, but yeah, these things do, George, unfortunately happen. Still looking at a couple of incidents, yeah, so we'll see what happens in the chat, as we can see some very different conditions for the start of the race, that is for absolutely sure. But yeah, George, whether it's sim racing or real, we can have all kinds of technical and problematic issues, and a server crash 9 hours into the race. It doesn't get much cooler than that, I don't think.
It certainly doesn't. You know, there's going to be some suggestion from some of the drivers in better positions. Hey, you know, I'm maybe leading or in the top 3 of my category, and you know, let's just take the results as they are and all that. But the admins will decide what's best. Still got a full hour, you know, on the timer there. So lots of racing still to be had. The question is just going to be around, you know, whether or not we restart, what we end up doing. Nonetheless, we were in the middle of some really exciting battles just before then. You know, just as car disconnects happen or hardware failures happen in real motorsports, occasionally sometimes the servers do get disconnected, and unfortunately the Nordschleife has a little bit of a history with the ACC servers. Of course, it was the latest track added to ACC. Really great addition to the circuit, but you get a number of things that can affect it, unfortunately. Sometimes it's an upside-down car. Sometimes the servers just get a little bit overloaded from some of the traffic that they're having to deal with. It is a very, very large race, this. 45 cars. It's going to be well over 80 or 90 drivers connected, plus a couple of commentators and all the stewards. It is a big, big, big event to hold. But 9 hours of great racing that we've been able to witness. We're watching the start now, and you're right, John, sunny and bright. Very big, stark difference from what we've been experiencing later on in the race. So we will see. I do believe there's some messages in chat, John, you might want to keep an eye on. But we will wait until we hear any official word coming through in the server and the Discord.
Yeah, so confirmation actually. More than 75% of the race has been completed, so there will be no race start. So the results from the time when the drivers disconnected will be the final results for the race. They're saying there is a problem getting the server restarted, so an issue at their end. Their confirmation in the Twitch chat as well. Due to more than 75% of the race being completed, we will not be restarting. We do not have access to the results file, meaning the results will take me a long time to gather. This also means race data and ACM bot won't be taken from this race, unfortunately. If there is a problem with the penalties, then do please take it up in Discord. Unfortunately, here in the comedy booth, we have no control over that at all. I believe there is an appeals system. Feel absolutely free to jump in there and give them a shout, and they will be more than happy to help. I have had some screenshots of the results. Let me just quickly share them with George, and then I'll open them up and have a quick look. I'm not going to try and get them on stream.
But despite the server going down at the end, John, I'll tell you, that was a great bit of racing at the Nordschleife, and some really impressive results from a lot of people around the grid. So, even though it's only been 9 hours, so definitely a shame that it's ended that way. What a race. And I think ACM have put on a fantastic 10-hour event here with all their partners as well. And it's been really good fun, even though I was expecting and hoping to do a couple of hours of commentary. Wasn't able to get quite up to that point, John, but honestly, what a great race ACM have put on today.
Yeah, an absolutely phenomenal event. 9 hours in, the servers crashed, but up until that point, as you say, it ran like a well-oiled machine that had live seared all the way through. And there we go, let me just do that. So incredible result, incredible race, as you say. So it does look like it is going to be Richie that has got the race win. Richie and the team, Sidoruk, Naskdashvili and Vasquez Rodriguez taking the win ahead of Angel, who is in second place by 22 seconds. Sparks is going to take third place, Schmitz in fourth, and Zockling in fifth position. Alibert and Tumara, my goodness me, Goltsev in eighth, Teixeira in ninth, and Boonstra holding on to 10th place. Going to finish ahead of Nocentini, and in the GT4s, there we go, nice and smooth. Let me just increase the size of that so we can see. It is of course Godowski that brings home the win. Blanchett and Heslin in second place, with Liebner, Malk and Rihak bringing home third place and the final spot on the GT4 podium. Kral, Oakley and Peach finishing in 4th place, just ahead of Kwelkowski, Rojek and Manznika, Goswell, Redfern and Gator, finishing in 5th position in the GT4s. So there are the results. Of course, you can get all the results on the SimGood page and in the Discord chat as well. The links are in the chat, so make sure you do jump in. There's going to be plenty more racing to come from ACM, so make sure you get onto that SimGood page and make sure you get yourself involved. That is all we're going to have time for this evening, unfortunately. George up at the crack of dawn as well to jump into the commentary box and cruelly denied what was going to be an absolute grandstand finish. George, the Nordschleife never fails to deliver for the time that you were in the box though, and some great racing on display.
Oh, that's absolutely right. And my hope to see a McLaren take the win unfortunately dashed right at the end of the race. But who knows what would have happened later on? You just can't tell. Remember, of course, to go and check out acm-racing.com. They've got a whole bunch of amazing races lined up, events, career mode, the whole caboodle. It's all in there. So make sure you go and check them out, ACC career mode. So acm-racing.com/career. Jump into the Discord, get involved. These guys are doing some amazing work in the sim racing community. John, pleasure as always. It's not even that early here, if I'm honest with you. So a pleasure to be able to jump in for the ACM 10 hours of Nordschleife, or I guess 9 hours of Nordschleife. Fantastic racing. Congratulations to all the category winners and to everyone who has been racing today. Congrats to the admins and the stewards for holding what was an amazing event. Well done, and I hope to see you all soon.
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much, George. Yeah, it definitely was. And a big shout out and a thank you, of course, to the sponsors, G-Port, and of course, Uplay. Make sure you get over to Uplay. Again, their link is in the chat. Get yourself some phenomenal discounts on all your gaming requirements. But that is, we will leave you with some of the highlights from the opening race. Thank you to everyone that's tuned in and joined us for the race. We hope to see you again here at ACM, and congrats to the drivers, of course, with the race wins. Until next time, though, it is good night from George.
Good night.
And it's a good night from me. Stay safe, take it easy, and have a great rest of your night. Good night.
ACC Career Mode by ACM Racing. ACC Career Mode is back and better than ever, with a 3-month-long series containing over 50 races with mixed formats and challenges. Team up with friends to manage your finances, car performance and sponsor contracts, or go solo and manage your favourite car across the whole season, utilising the daily, weekly and monthly challenges to add some spice to your online racing. The best thing? You decide your career, with 7 different paths to choose from. Minimum effort is no effort. ACC Career Mode Quarter 1 contains 5 races a week, all stewarded and commentated live, with a range of formats from 4 to 12 hour endurance races to 25-minute sprints. The full race calendar is available at acm-racing.com, with individual race sign-up taking place on SimGrid.